And now the president of the Manitoba Métis Federation, David Chartrand. Are you actually taking a break?
No, I'm actually at home. I was working on a file this morning, so to me it's a break with you at home, and go over here to swell me, and I don't have to do much. So just go on the phone and yap. I've been working on a file. I can't get to presenting it yet until I get more closer to its final stages. There's something very important in the COVID area, but I've got to make sure it's factual and all in place before I speak on matters that directly affect my people. So let me start off by saying some happy birthdays first.
Sure.
Happy birthday to Elder Linda St. Cyr. As a member on the show, I said we sent a present by mistake a week and a half early. My staff sent it ahead of time.
Oh.
Her birthday, she turned 70 on February 19th. And happy birthday to Hal Benoit, of course, Chief of Staff, been around with me over 20 years. He's turned 60 years old, and he's 1 year younger than me. So he's a pup. Just like that 93-year-old elder told me, I said, I'm turning 61. You're just young, she said. Made me feel good anyway.
Do you want my opinion?
No, I don't. And happy anniversary to Linda and Les Brockenier celebrated their 44th wedding anniversary, so on February 12th. So happy anniversary to them. On other business matters directly, first I want to start off with the update on the fishing. People are still phoning to inquire about the nets. We are actually moving on the order of 2,000 nets, and so we're working on the finalization of that. Of course, to be shipped from overseas and then into the hands of our active fishermen. Now, let me explain the word active. We've been, of course, financially supporting our fishers during this COVID time that were out working in the lakes, and of course, whether freezing or in the summer and the fall, producing their product and then selling it to freshwater. And freshwater has not been able to sell it anywhere because of COVID and transportation issues, and so freshwater has taken a big hit. And the fishermen still have to sell their fish. I think Canada's been subsidizing freshwater to carry them through these tough times, and it's fitting to make sure that the fishermen get paid. But the active net fishermen means that they fished last year, that they actually went in the lake. And I'm talking about licensed, not helpers, a licensed fishermen that actually got their crews out and were out actively, whether it's summer, fall, or winter, and that they actually did commercial fishing. They sold their product, because you'll have evidence of that. You'll have your license, and you'll have your sales to freshwater, whoever your sales were designed to go to at the end of the day. So that evidence would be easily produced, because you'd get a stub verifying the sale. So we are moving on that. But, of course, as I said to you, Ray, in the show, and I say many times, you can never please everybody 100%.
Right.
There's a couple of people that are complaining they should still have the net. They used to be fishermen, and they should still have the net. And so it's unfortunate that they will argue that point all they want, but that's not how the economic program has been designed for active fishermen. So, as I said, we supplemented some of their losses in the fishing industry, and now we're going to provide them with 10 nets. Now, there may be another program if fishermen want to get back onto the lake, but given the state of COVID and the state of freshwater and the marketing, of course, the majority of our marketing of pickerel, for example, walleye, whatever fancy name you want to give it, most of it goes to the United States. And given the fact the borders are closed, the truckers are moving, and now with vaccine proof and of vaccinations being done or tests being done, it's going to slow that entire market. So again, freshwater, I'm sure, will not have a robust season given the fact that they can't move their product to market. So again, the opportunity of fishermen this fall, this summer, probably going to be hit hard. We don't know anymore regarding whether freshwater or what they can buy, how much they can buy. But let me say this. I want to thank Freshwater. They've been working with Marcy at my office, and Marcy's been the lead on this. And they're very cooperative. That's where we're getting the fresh, they say fresh pickerel and whitefish fillets. That's going to be going out next week. We just confirmed we had to have a province-wide agreement with Freshwater that every region would be ready on board. As I said, Southwest had 1,000 callers wanting fish, and it just shows you that's just one region, right?
Yeah.
We're talking thousands upon thousands of people wanting fish.
Right.
And so we'll be giving and distributing. So next week, the distribution will then commence. We've confirmed with Freshwater, and I want to thank them again for their cooperative nature and they've indicated to us if we need more, that's a discussion they're willing to have. So again, to all our citizens like Jean Chaboyer and Margaret phoned this morning to tell me they were very pleased with the bison they received as an elder, but they can't wait for the fish. They can't wait to get that on the kitchen frying pan and then onto their plate so they can have one of their traditional meals. So I'm looking forward to getting that fish distributed. So people have not yet applied, want to apply, get a hold of the region immediately. They're looking at different venues of how to do it. A lot of it will be delivered. And you can also pick it up for safety reasons. You want to just drive by. It'll be a place of destination where you can come by and pick up your fillet and whitefish. And as I said, some people are saying, I only want pickerel. I'm sorry, you got to take boat because it wouldn't be fair for others if we give pickerel first and then didn't have enough to share to everybody. So, but the whitefish, people need to understand, whitefish is a beautiful fish. And my mom, that was her favorite fish, whitefish. Mm-hmm. I actually loved it too, but this one is filleted. I've never actually seen a filleted whitefish, but this is filleted, and I've always eaten whitefish whole, whether in a oven or in a pot for soup, and then of course the whitefish. What I loved about it is the meat just peels right off the bones, right, and the bones stay all in your plate, and it's easier eating fish. And of course it's a very, very well tasting fish. So I look forward to that rolling out. I said next week is what Mercy just confirmed. She just confirmed with fresh water. Of course, we got to work with Gardewine or else with our trucking company to have it. Give me a second. No, somebody must be talking about me. I'm sneezing. So my mom say, I mean, somebody's talking about Wigidishimik.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so that's a program I want to talk about there on that part. But I had some very, very, very important meetings. I had a meeting with Minister Anan Ahmed Aman. He's the Minister of Early Learning Childcare in Canada. Mm-hmm. And they're, of course, announced prior to that some very hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars into the early learning childcare. And they're going to be looking forward to making an announcement after the budget this year, again, of a longer-term investment and permanent potential investment to early learning childcare. So for us, it's music to our ears, to our families, music to their ears, and it's a massive opportunity creating jobs for our people, building daycare, Aboriginal Head Start centers in our communities. Like Duck Bay already is in operation. Dauphin is in its final stage, and it's in a stash. They're already moving on that development and on and on and on. We also bought one just outside of Selkirk, a beautiful, beautiful building, and the Métis women are now going to convert that into a daycare Aboriginal Head Start center. So, again, the only challenge we do face, and I did raise that with the Canada, is that in the province here, it is hard to get a license. It takes sometimes up to 2 years, and that holds us back dramatically because it's a hardship on us to wait that long. So for families to wait that long,
right?
Given that we're so short spaces in this province, I don't know why the bureaucracies have so much red tape. Is it just because it's Métis? I don't know. So I'm not going to do speculation and throw out rumors, but it is an issue for us, and a serious issue that should be taken stronger by the province. So that meeting was well attended, and again, Distinct Base is committed very strongly in support of our plan. We have 15 students right now in class, be graduating soon. We want to expand that and grow the child care workforce, because we will be needing them. And so people are looking in careers in that field. MMF will have courses and will be paying for those courses. It will be supplementing, supporting you to go through that course and become a child care worker in the daycare centers and the Aboriginal Head Start centers. So I encourage our people. It'll be called Métis centers. It'll be called not instead of Aboriginal. Mm-hmm. So I just use that phrase because that's the name that was given to it in 1985. So, and by just for everybody's information, I told Minister Aman, is that if you think about it in history, I said from 1985, the first one I think was in 86, 87, that was actually open. But if you look at it, I said from that standpoint, we never got one in Canada, not the Métis Nation. We got zero. It went to First Nation reserves and went to friendship centers. We never got nothing as the Métis. Again, on this racist and discriminatory practice that we're not jurisdictional under the Canada responsibility. So, or else they use the excuse we're political. Well, I'm sorry, we're advocates and strongly political to protect our people. So, but we finally got them now, and I thank the government over and over, and of course I'll take the Prime Minister on having that distinct base approach, which ensures the Métis Nation get theirs. So that was very well back and forth discussion between the Minister and I. In Canada, and then following that afternoon, I had another very long discussion with the Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada and the Minister of Finance about the upcoming budget and where we sit and where will we find ourselves in this budget, what are some of the key priorities. Economic development was fundamental to me, very, very strong on that one and pushing very hard. We need to create supports to our businesses. We need to. We did a survey ourselves out of 400 businesses in the prairies. There's a good chance that about three quarters of them may not make it through this second phase if we don't give them supports. So that's a damaging hit at the end of the day. But it also showed, Ray, some of the data we're collecting. People need to reflect this because I talked about this in our assembly some time ago. I talked about it in our shows. Going back, we did studies on the state of employment for Métis. And we found, for example, this number was essential. It made you proud, but it also made you worried because it showed that the Métis in Canada, and in the Western Canada, of course, our nation exists, and we were actually beating the Canadian population by 3 to 5% between the ages of 18 and 21 of our people employed.
No.
But here's the catch, Ray. That means they're out in construction, which is not a bad job. Those are good jobs. Trust me, those are high-paying jobs, especially in oil pipelines and pipelines in general, or just anywhere in that kind of field. There's high-paying jobs, and so our people were in forestry, we're in agricultural, we're in construction, but hands-on, foot on the ground kind of concept of employment. So, but it tells us that if we beat the Canadian population by that high, then it also tells us we're not in the universities getting these professional jobs. So because that means our people are out in the construction, hard labor force fields. Right. So when you look at the math and the history of that, and people to really generate this in their mind, is that at the end it shows you that study done quite a number of years ago is factual today, because the hardest hit people right now were the Métis. We got hit hard on the first and second quarter of this COVID. We lost, according to Stats Canada, 22,000 jobs.
Wow.
And why? Because that's the feet on the land, working on those type of jobs. Those are the ones that are laid off. You can't work from an office on those jobs. You got to work on site. And because of COVID, a lot of them went down, and so a lot of layoffs occurred. So our Métis people got hit hardest than anybody, because of that spectrum of what COVID did to us, and that we are not in the blue-collar workforce, that we are actually working from our offices or from home. So that's a good example that data that we conducted quite a number of years ago now really shows its true face, that this is what can happen, particularly to industries, and then guess who's going to get hurt is the Métis. So I did raise that with the Deputy Prime Minister, of course, and the Minister of Finance, saying, look, we need to look at small and medium jobs. Our government can't just be focusing on the big industries and companies, although I'm not opposed to them. But the backbone of this country is small and medium jobs. We got to get that support. We got to get the economic finances to them. We got to support the agricultural businesses. We got to support the farmers. In Manitoba, I also expressed to her my big concern. I'm hearing loud and clear from a lot of our ranchers and farmers out there that the province is changing the lease formula in this province, and actually it's increasing the cost of leased crown lands to these small and medium-sized little tiny agricultural farms or ranchers. And they're saying we can't afford this continued rise of costs. So what the province is doing, they're going to hurt the backbone of this province, again, the small and medium people. The big companies will be able to afford these big mass lease agreements, but the small guy can't. Yeah. So and I expressed that to her. We need to watch this. We got to watch what's happening, and the province of Manitoba is not doing us a favor. They're hurting our economy and hurting the people that are the backbone of this economy. The ranchers, the farmers, those people can't afford higher costs of their lease when they're already struggling to make ends meet. So they will bankrupt them. So I've raised that to Canada. We need to find tools to help these small businesses. And same thing I said, our government, I applaud them, federally, not provincially, trust me, not provincially right now, but the federal regarding connectivity. And I told the minister, the promise made by the Liberals is we're going to connect every Canadian in this country. Okay, I said, here's the challenge you face. The big industries, massive industries, whether it's the Rogers, the Bales, all of them, they already dominate a lot of the fiber optic of this country. And now you're saying that we, for example, the Federation, can do connectivity to our Métis villages across the province. So when we look at those numbers, I said, and we look at the way that the funding is designed, it'll cost us $180 million to do connectivity right from the south, north, east, and west of our province to connect our Métis villages. So, but we got to pay 25% of that on our own.
Oh.
And then, so the expectation, the ideology, the business mind behind it, the bureaucrats who wrote this, they're not thinking smart, because what they're doing, they're not looking at who has to pay that. If you're looking at 70, 80% unemployment in your communities, how do you expect them to pay for the connectivity of $80, $90, $100 a month?
Right.
You know, so I said, then how then do we, if we go to a bank to borrow this, get the $25 million that we need to get the $180 million if we do get it, and then how do we get to make revenue back? The big cities can do it, the big villages can do it, the big towns, but the small guys can't. So I said, you got to rethink how your proposition is there. I also educated her about housing. We build right now senior and affordable houses for the Métis government. And we're building that right across the province. We're moving headstrong this year already. We just ratified, we're building in St. Ambrose in a short little while, but we're going to go right across the province and build. But we're not building social housing. And because social housing is based on a formula of subsidization where the province and the federal government share the taxes, use the taxes then to cover the subsidization, because there's not enough paid by the client living in there to completely maintain the full cost of the house. And so it really, that's why these houses, if not properly managed, will be run down. Mm-hmm. And so if you look at reserves, a lot of their houses, they got capitalization to build houses, but they never got maintenance to take care of their houses.
Oh.
That's why you see the houses falling apart.
Yeah.
They have capital to build, but no maintenance to keep them up to par. So I advised her, the program you guys announced in Canada through CMHC, I said is missing the boat, because what they're saying is that there's only several companies that can build these ready-to-move houses, these social houses. And I said, why in the hell would I be taking a 20-year responsibility to subsidize, as the Métis government, that whoever builds these houses, for example, if we build in Métis villages, MMF would have to guarantee 20 years of subsidization. So, for example, say it takes about $800 to run a house, and so a month. So, but if the renter, based on their income and welfare and all that, can only pay like 25% of their income, which may be $200-300, that means we got to subsidize $500. Mm-hmm. So if we do that for quite a number of houses, you're talking in the tens and potentially into the millions.
Wow.
So I said, then one of the ideas we thought we'd have is we'd build these houses, take the revenue from there, and then use it as a subsidization. Mm-hmm. And that's where we could make money and, buy a house, sell it to ourselves, because it costs about $200 and something a square foot now, even higher because lumber prices are going up. And then so you start saying, then we make the revenue. There's got to be some profit margin in there. Take the profits and use it for subsidization to help the families live in these houses, and because they can't fully pay for all of it. But then I said, but your program is designed that we can't do it. Only there's a couple companies in Canada that can do it. So why in the hell would we be the liable ones for 20 years, and the guys making the profits are going to walk away? So it doesn't make sense. I said that program needs to be reevaluated, and I'm going to be pushing that with Canada. Let us build the houses. Then we'll make profit. Take the profit. I don't care about using the profit anywhere else, but use it back into helping the families. So I got to fight that kind of fight right now, Ray. There's a lot of those issues we got to be on top of it on a regular basis. But the meeting with her was very fruitful. She's very, very respectful lady. I'm very proud of her. I think she did extremely well on the job with Trump negotiating Canada and the trade, and so it was very essential. She carried us very well as Canadians, and she definitely, that's material for the future one day to be a prime minister. But right now we have a great prime minister, which I have 100% belief in, because he's never failed us yet as the Métis Nation. He's been there throughout, even the throne speech. I said we made history. In the Prime Minister's throne speech, we got mentioned 4 times. We had really lucky we ever got mentioned once. Yeah. So we made history, and he's proven that over and over. Look at our students. I was talking to PJ this morning, Fleming, but he sits on one of our education committees, and we're talking about, as I said on the show, we have over 1,200 university students applying to us now, but we know every course they're taking, so we know how many engineers we're going to have. We know how many nurses we're going to have, how many lawyers we're going to have. It tells us the state of their pursuit in education. So that is like a gold mine for me to look at the data, look at the numbers, and I can now put a plan around it. That when they get out of there, they're walking into jobs not working at 7-Eleven after they have a degree, So from that standpoint, I said, but seeing all these students coming now, there's over 1,200. We've never seen that. I've been after this for 20 years. The first time we've been able to have such a robust attendance of everybody registering. But now we can actually help them with $5,000 guaranteed every year. And then now we're also helping them with subsidizing with their food and their cost of rent right now. We're putting a second tranche of money out with our students shortly, and to help them out during this time of COVID, because a lot of them work part-time. Well, they go to school to pay off their living conditions, whether it's their rent or food, but a lot of them are laid off because the business is down. So for students listening out there, we'll have a second tranche of resources coming out for you, post-secondary students and college students. We're going to be helping you again to make sure you can pay your rent, to make sure you can get food in your cupboards and take care of yourself while we're going through this tough time of COVID.
Right.
So that's, again, great news. We just got money from Canada again, but not just for that, but widespread, and we've got to spread it out. And given the fact we've got 125,000 people, we've got to be very smart with our money. So again, I'm very, very proud of that ability for us to be able to do that. On another very important matter, I attended, of course, the funeral of George Fleury, John, of our minister's father, and I'm very proud of that history. George was one of the founders of the Federation. Now one of his sons sits in the cabinet, and actually one of his daughters works at the Federation. So when you look at it overall, 1967 to now, the Fleury family is still helping build a nation. And I was very proud to go personally to see her along with my wife and my family. We all went, and but only 10 people can go in to the viewing. Right. I did not go to the funeral because only 9 were allowed in there, and it was more of a family. But we have it on video, so the people to see that would have wanted to attend the funeral of the provincial elder. And I did some interviews. He hit the news on CBC and a few other stations. We promoted it strongly, and I was very, very pleased with the media for taking it seriously, that our provincial elders mean a lot to us, and our elders in general is part of our culture and part of who we are to always respect. So that was a very important event for me. I think more important than all the other discussions I'm having in meetings, because George meant a lot to me, and he had a different way of guiding me versus Senator Ed, which I always will have great special place in my heart for him, where he'd be the tough guy to pound the table style politician and give me some messages to either smarten up and be a little tougher at my language, be a little more bolder at my position. So and George was more calmer, and so our elders have different ways that they guide us and give us direction, but each of them are valuable in any way. There are encyclopedias, like you're the encyclopedia to our music, I'm sure, without question. The legend of your knowledge on making it in the music world to where you are today, it's priceless. So when you look at all of these aspects, we're looking for a provincial elder now again. Our cabinet will be going through that process, and I was asked a question by the media: what is a provincial elder? How do you get one? How do you select an elder? I said, well, just because you're old doesn't make you an elder. I said, it has nothing to do with your white hair. I have white hair. I'm not an elder. And I told Don Roulette, my executive director, he said, hey, you better smarten up. Treat me, I'm an elder. I said, you're not, Don, you're no man. I said, because at the end of the day, an elder earns that right, and is specialized in the sense that you'll know it in the community, you'll know which person that is, because people will generally turn and show bow their heads to that elder. That person has earned that male or female has earned that right, and it's not some class you're going through or some vote you're going on. You have earned it by the community recognizing who is that special elder in their village or in their town, and because that person has carried themselves and their names. Like I said on this program, my name is everything to me. I protect my name. My mom told me that. The elders told me that. Always watch for you're the only one that could damage your name, is what elders told me. If you will leave this world, you want them to remember you as a drunk, as a thief, as a liar, or you want them to leave this world and remember you as a damn good man, a strong man, a hard-working man, a man that fought for the people. So those are important, so you can't destroy that name. He said only you can destroy it, and you need to protect it. So that's very important to us. So that's why the elder ideology is so important, that when we choose our next provincial elder, it'll be one that's truly respected province-wide, and that person has earned that right. So I look forward to, in the future, announcing who that new provincial elder will be, and I thank George for all he's done, and all the elders prior to him that have left us into their new world. And I'm sure I said he liked Hank Williams, of course. I said he's probably searching to try to get in and to show somewhere with Hank Williams out there in the New World. So, because he loved Hank Williams, and actually they were playing that as Wake Hank Williams, so Hank Williams music. But again, that was a very important event for me to attend, and personally for Glorian too. So his family, we had great respect for our provincial elder. Another event, of course, as you're starting to see a lot of it on CTV News. If you haven't, watch your CTV throughout the days and different premier times also, you'll always see the Métis Minute. And that Métis Minute is going to talk about the history of our people. The first one is about actually the Red Ricard, and for people may think, well, Red Ricard, how important is pardon me?
I watched it. It's terrific. It tells you a lot.
And what it does, Ray, is that people don't realize that was the first mobile giant of mobility.
Yeah.
We didn't have trains, we didn't have planes, we didn't have semis, we didn't have trucks. So this was how do you move a big product from one area to another part of the country or to another part of a separate country like America. How do you move your product? And one was by York Boat, and that'll be the next event, York Boat and Beating. And then we'll show different parts that we use, but that's only through waterways. And so how do you get it from community to community, town to town, village to village, or country to country? And the invention of the Red River cart is phenomenal. That's like being one of those that invented the first car, for example.
Right.
Because really it was designed in such a way you can actually repair it while you're traveling and getting it right, everything right from natural resources. You can get your sinew from your buffalo. You can get your hide from your buffalo. You can get your dowels from the bush. You can, you don't have to go to the store or run somewhere or get a nails or things of that nature, or screws. It was all done by nature's own hand in a sense of getting the materials even while on the mobility. So that was ingenuity at its best, and it served, and you could hear thousands of them moving at the same time, and squeak you could hear for tens and tens of miles. So again, it just shows you the creativity of the Métis business, the entrepreneurial spirit of our people. So that Métis Minute is going to be throughout the year, and it will be different events of our history and people reflecting how proud they should be. That's one of the things the media asked me, said, why is the elders so important? I said, because that's our encyclopedias. Our young people can't forget, as like the elders told me, and my mom told me, and my mom said to me, she said, don't ever forget where you're from. And I never will. And I know where I grew up. I know I grew up poor. I knew I grew up struggling. I knew how it was. I know how tough it was for my mom. I seen her hard-working hands washing clothes to make a few dollars. And I know climbing up that hill, I hated for that snow in the winter. How many times I had to crawl up that hill to haul water because she washed clothes to make money. And so I know what a tough life is. That's why my mom wanted to remind me, never forget who I am, never forget where I come from. Always remember that, because that'll carry you to do the right things in life and responsible to do the things in life. So that's where all my characteristics of my leadership comes from. And today I don't want the young generation to forget that. Right. And I said to the show, the media, I said this. I said, one of the things we've got to worry about, because we want a better life for our children. All of us do. Every one of us, every parent out there. Mm-hmm. And we want our children to have a better life than we did. So we go out of our way. We work 10 times harder sometimes to get them the education, to get them the supports, to become the lawyers, the doctors, the plumbers, the carpenters, so they have solid, good jobs. And then, but if they make it where they're becoming in the professional field, and they don't want to go back and start washing clothes. They don't want to go back and having big gardens, and because they can afford that stuff now. Mm-hmm. So, but in us improving their lives, we have to hope and pray and teach them they don't forget who they are and where they come from.
Yeah.
Because that'll always keep them solid to the ground. It'll always maintain their vision of who they are and why they must fight. And that's why I have so much impressive comments I make about the black people, right? Mm-hmm. They went through slavery, they went through hell and killed and abused and everything, you name it. They went through hell and back.
Yep.
And you look at them today. They're solid. They don't forget where they come from. They unite quickly. They stand up quickly. They fight quickly to protect themselves as the black community. Same thing with the Jewish people. You've got to have great pride what hell they went through. Unbearable, unimaginable kind of suffering. And look at them today. And they stand united, stand together. And that's what we have to do as Indigenous people. That's what we have to do as the Métis Nation. Stand together through tough times. Don't get jealous. I don't care if somebody has a nicer house, a nicer truck than you, or a nicer girlfriend or a nicer boyfriend. Who cares? Just be proud of them. Right. Be proud of what they're doing. Be proud of where they're working. If they're working at McDonald's, you damn well be proud of them. They're going to work. You support them. If they're trying to find a job, you be proud of them. And that's what this has got to be all about for us. We've got to be standing united, standing with our people. This is what's going to get us out of the struggles and hardships we face. Like, for example, we can't get a COVID vaccine. Think about that for a second. We have the highest chronic illnesses province, and we surpass First Nations, and that's not a good thing. It's a sad thing. We have higher chronic illnesses than First Nations when it comes to diabetes and other things. Yet we can't get prioritized as a vaccine. I think the Grand Chief and others who have advocated and saying it's wrong, the Métis are being left out, and we all know why. Everybody knows why. And if Palliser, you're listening, you know why. So you want to punish us for holding you accountable. And that's not what politics is about. You're being held accountable, then take it. Take that shot once in a while. You have to. That's part of politics. That's what you put your name in a ballot box for. So it's very important that people get to understand it. But for all our Indigenous people listening, it's about unity, standing together, and that's going to be the key that keeps our solid back strong and moving forward. Now, I want to close off with this comment or this message. We're announcing the Métis Veterans Legacy Commemorative Program. That's coming up right now. I've been, as you know, worked 20 years on this file myself personally to get. And Prime Minister Trudeau promised me before he was Prime Minister, before he was leader of the Liberal Party, if he ever became leader of the Liberal Party, became Prime Minister, if I would support him, he would guarantee that he would definitely deal and settle the Métis veterans. And that was one of the promises I asked him. 3 different things: land claims, that, and never forgetting the Métis Nation. So, and he's kept his word to every one of them. Right now we're negotiating land claims. It's slow, but I want it faster. But at least he's kept his word. But the veterans, he did it. He promised them. Apology came from Macaulay. That's part of a process we have with the Minister of Veterans Affairs. But the Prime Minister came across at a $30 million settlement, and that is going to live in perpetuity, Ray. We're announcing the new commemorative program that will be coming out, and you can apply up to $200,000 for a commemorative event. Like, for example, you want to build a big monument, you want to build a hall, you want to build something that would always mention or require the information about the World War II veterans. It has to be built around that concept, that project. But you can get $200,000 one year, you get $100,000 one year, $100,000 the next year. But it's also for small projects, so $1,000 projects, $2,000, and on and on and on, $10,000. But you also got to raise your own money. So people have to understand that it's not you get 100% of your funding from this to do whatever your dream is.
Right.
You got to go out and do your own and help out, just like they did in Kennesuda, St. Eustache, and other places where the community all stepped in and did their part, and we brought in the revenue to build the monuments at the MMF. So this program is around that. But it's there forever, Ray. We anticipate the program will start with $1.5 million you can apply for across the homeland, and I look forward to the new developments that will come about, probably new monuments that will be coming about, new parks, new different things. Education is going to be part of it, and we're going to do more consultations. We're not finished because COVID has held us back. We're going to get more ideas about this, but I am so proud, and I'm also proud we found 29 veterans, we found 30 spouses, and we're still finding children today that are entitled to the funding of the settlement of $20,000 for every living veteran, every living spouse of the veteran of World War II, and for the children, if their parent was a veteran and died January 1st, 2016 forward, all those children are entitled to split of the $20,000 equally. So that is a beautiful, beautiful program I'm so proud of, and I can't think enough to our staff and definitely with Canada's strong support towards this. And again, the Prime Minister, I can't think of enough for never forgetting the veterans. Mm-hmm. And so, Ray, right now, we actually have spent, just for, because I always report the expenses on our COVID, we spent $3,334,150 for both business and Amper. We delivered over 10,000 Ampers in the session, well, COVID-1 and COVID-2, pandemic spreads. Wow. And we hope there's not going to be a COVID-3, but so far we over 10,000 Ampers already raised. So that's still ongoing. People listening, your Ampers will still be coming. We'll probably start to slow down in the summer. And I want to close off with this. The variant is out there. There's 3 in Manitoba. It's a more deadly, spread fast variant. It's the same virus, but it actually has other mutations that have occurred that can actually quickly move itself from people to people. And spread itself faster. So we need to be cautious. We need our young people to keep on being the leaders, to protect their grandparents and parents, and the same thing we need to do. We had a positive test at the Federation. One of our night staff did. Mother works for the health department and of Manitoba. Her husband tested positive, and her son got it. and her son was tested positive through our intrinsic that we do our doing testing at the company we hired, and he was tested positive. So he'll be staying home for 14 days with his parents, and pray to God they make it through, everybody. But we had to fog the entire building and cut down even more staff to come to the office. So you always got to be ready. You don't know when it's going to come. I was told I can't go to the office. I had to go because I had meetings with ministers. I had to be there with my staff around me in all the briefings I needed, but these are big meetings. And so, but I was make sure I was locked up in my office and walked right out of the building after. But our staff, Anita and Francis and the team, are doing such a great job. So again, you never know when it's going to come. As I said, our young worker there didn't realize his mom was unfortunate in a hospital, working in a health center, that she got it and brought it home without realizing it. The next thing you know, her son had it. So again, it could get you quick, and let's pray to God your lungs and your body will be able to handle it. So be safe, everybody out there. Take this very seriously. Let's work together. Spring is going to make you itchy to get out there, but if you can get out there, be very clear you're away from everybody else.
Well, one thing I want to say too, David.
Yeah.
Thank God we have you as a leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You keep on working hard. My mom will give me a kick in the ass if I don't learn my language. Kicking a butt is a better language. My mom taught me to work hard all my life, and as I said, my name means everything, and I will work to do everything I can to make everything as best and as advancement for our people. And I also want to announce that I was so proud to find one of the living spouses. We announced it on the show, Cecile Breland. And remember, I said, Ray, we were so proud to find her. She was 93, I believe, and she got her check for $20,000. She was so happy, so proud. And then Ray, she died over a week and a half after.
Oh.
Our condolences to the Breland family and Denise and her family. They were so close to that family. But it just shows you, thank God. I'll say this, the good Lord up there listens to me, and I pray every night, Ray. Every night I pray for guidance and support and to make me the leader I should be. And but clearly at the end of the day, I want to say again, I was so proud. She spoke with Jeff that she was there to witness 75 years later finally getting justice, for her husband. And but to die a week and a half later, but I know she went smiling because she got the honor and the respect her husband should have received upon coming back from the Second World War. So again, take care, everybody. Thank you for listening to Métis Hour. Yeah. And again, Ray, thank you for all your kind words to me.
Thank you. Just one more thing, David.
Yeah.
When you do these things and you talk to people and some of them just try not to understand or don't understand, it always comes back to me, John Wayne, holding this guy up against the wall and saying, life is tough, but it's tougher when you're stupid.
Oh, great. Only you can use that line, Ray. If I use that, they'll be saying I'm being bad to people or threatening people or hurting people. So, way to go, Ray. Good one.
Okay.
So again, for all our elders, again, thank you so much for being your guidance. And the young people, thank you for being who you are and protecting your families during COVID. You're showing leadership, and I am so proud to be your leader and watch you as young families and young children, young people, our teenagers or adolescents out there doing their justice to protect their families, not just running wild and bringing COVID home and causing great harm. So again, take care, everybody, and let some callers get in. And I'm sorry for the late. There was a lot of meetings on this one, and I had to give an update to the files. Okay, Take care.
All right, David. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. David Chartrand, the president of the Manitoba Métis Federation, with his weekly report, Métis Matters, and boy, is he busy.
Yeah, he sure is.